Tonight, a speeding fine hotline and claims of dirty tricks. The New South Wales election race heats up.
The Premier is a secretive coward.
$1.3 billion bust. A record ICE seizure by Australian and US police.
The marathon effort to free a bobcat driver trapped under a semi-trailer.
And Mike Baird poised to take charge at the NAB.
This is NBN News with Natasha Beyersdorf and Paul Lobb.
Good evening. We're 44 days out from the New South Wales election and the gloves are off. The opposition leader came out swinging today, accusing the government of dirty tactics over a speeding fine story and demanding authorities investigate.
Caught on camera, but the opposition leader Michael Daly says it's not what you think. His car was caught travelling 72 in a 60 zone at Banks Meadow in May 2017. But it was his wife behind the wheel, and he signed a statutory declaration to say so.
She paid the fine without disputing it. End of the matter.
But with an election campaign in full swing, the misdemeanour somehow made it onto the front page. A furious Mr Daly said there'd been a breach of privacy and called on the police and ICAC to investigate, but believes they won't have to look too far.
The Liberals are bragging about setting up a dirt unit. Now, I'm not confident that I'll get answers because the Premier is a secretive coward.
The mudslinging today has also uncovered details of a special hotline set up by the Labor government in 2005, reserved for MPs to help constituents get off parking and speeding fines.
To be honest, I didn't really know that hotline existed myself.
But apparently the opposition leader did know. Records show a call was made to the hotline from his office in August 2017, inquiring about his wife's speeding offence.
Would I ever ask my staff to ring to get me off a fine, or a family member? I wouldn't do that.
Mr Daly says he didn't ask, but MPs from both sides of politics have called the hotline. Labor MP for Cabramatta, Lick Lalich, rang and wrote to the RMS on behalf of his constituents 175 times in 2017, while the retiring Liberal member for East Hills, Glenn Brooks, made 33 representations.
A Mexican drug cartel working alongside outlaw bikie gangs is believed responsible for attempting to send a record amount of ice to Australia.
5 people have been charged over the haul, which carries a staggering street value of $1.3 billion.
With 1.7 tonne of methamphetamine in the hands of US Customs, the satisfaction of cracking an international drug ring has been overshadowed by a dire admission.
We now believe the Mexican cartels are actively targeting Australia.
Hidden inside electrical capacitors, 850 2-kilo blocks of the drug ice were seized before being shipped to Melbourne. Drugs a joint task force has directly associated with Australian outlaw bikie gangs.
We think that the link between serious and organised crime and the OMCGs made quite clearly in this instance.
Outlaw motorcycle gangs are involved, 100%.
Questions began when 25 kilograms of ice was found in a car stopped at random by police travelling through Wodonga. That was linked to outlaw bikies and led to the discovery of 2 tonnes of precursor chemicals in June. A Victorian drug syndicate was identified and linked to a plan to import illicit drugs to Melbourne from the US, and on January 9, American Customs stopped 2 shipping containers in California. Inside they found 1.7 tonne of methamphetamine, 25 kilos of cocaine and another 5 kilograms of heroin.
If this shipment had made Australian streets, it equates to something like 17 million hits of ice.
3 properties in Sydney's west, along with homes and factories across 6 Melbourne suburbs, were raided in a coordinated strike yesterday. $500,000 cash, passports, cocaine and methamphetamine have all been seized. 5 of the 6 people arrested, including 2 American nationals, have been charged. Here at Campbellfield, AFP officers spent all day raiding 2 warehouses on either side of this factory driveway, hauling out pallet loads of boxes of electronic devices and individually x-raying each one looking for drugs.
The intelligence that will be gleaned out of this syndicate alone will provide us with incredible ability to move forward.
The 2 Sydney men charged are being extradited to Victoria. Further arrests are expected, with federal authorities calling on every drug-using Australian to stop supporting organised crime.
We have to stop consuming drugs. That's the answer.
A man is recovering tonight after being trapped under a truck for 3 hours at an industrial site. Reporter Nat Wallace is at Sydney's Westmead Hospital and filed this report a short time ago.
Well, paramedics and fire rescue teams are still shaking their heads in disbelief as to how this man has survived. Right now, he's here at Sydney's Westmead Hospital in a serious but stable condition. He has neck, chest and abdominal injuries, but just a quick look at these pictures from Kings Park of wreckers out there, and it's safe to say that this is one very, very lucky man. He was in a bobcat. Next to him was a truck. Now, the trailer of that truck has collapsed on top of the bobcat, squashing it into the ground. What followed was a very delicate 3-hour operation to free this man. How they've been able to do it, just incredible. Hats go off to all involved. As to how this accident has happened, well, that's now a question for work cover and the New South Wales Police.
Nat Wallace there. A New South Wales father is fighting for life in Bali after he was glassed in a nightclub, allegedly by another Australian. 44-year-old Nathan Ryan was attacked after bumping into a man. The pair don't know each other.
Police are seeking witnesses to a brutal attack on a woman in Newcastle's CBD. Investigators say the 21-year-old was assaulted by a man near the intersection of Parry and Denison Streets between 11 p.m. and midnight on January 20. She suffered serious injuries and was taken to the John Hunter Hospital. Her attacker is only described as having long hair and wearing a white t-shirt with a cross on it.
Opponents are celebrating a precedent-setting decision by the Land and Environment Court to refuse the proposed Rocky Hill coal mine at Gloucester. A judge today upheld the state government's original decision while citing the mine's effect on climate change.
I'm just so pleased to think that they've made this decision, they've thought of the community and they've also thought of climate change.
The decision follows a lengthy campaign from protest group Groundswell Gloucester. Light rail services haven't even begun in Newcastle yet, but the network and its future continues to be the subject of debate. Naysayers are asking why it will start one tram short, while others are wondering where to next.
Just days from services beginning, 5 trams are here ready to roll, but number 6 remains on an inbound cargo ship. Track construction outpacing tram production.
Well, it's not really a hiccup. I mean, we are starting ahead of time.
The decision to commence services regardless means trams will run every 10 or so minutes instead of around every 7. Keolis Downer says the community open day on Sunday week will go ahead as planned. The union claims Newcastle deserves better, telling NBN News it's absolutely disgraceful commuters are being forced to suffer with an inferior service from day one.
When that final vehicle is commissioned and we've got the full complement in the fleet, we'll hit that 7.5-minute frequency.
Even before launch, the business community was today discussing the service's future, hoping to answer these questions and more.
What do we need? What's next? What's going to complement what we already have?
Let's work together with our councils and with the Transport Department to ensure that when we do development, it is thinking about mixed-use outcomes.
Public transport is absolutely key to the future of Newcastle.
Sam Burbury, NBN News.
Lake Macquarie Council is developing smart technology to make a trip to the beach safer. It's part of a $1 million collaboration that will allow people to check conditions in real time before they hit the sand. It's been a bad summer for drownings at New South Wales beaches, with 16 deaths so far this season. Lake Macquarie Council hopes new technology it's helping to develop will reduce the future toll. It's teamed up with Sydney's Northern Beaches Council and the University of Technology to develop an app which will give people useful information about their trip to the beach.
It'll mean that our lifeguards will have up-to-the-minute, real-time technology on our conditions in the beach and what people are doing on the beach, what times they're coming down here. So it'll be censored, it'll be different devices, so really exciting. The technology's not there at the moment, but we'll be designing that.
Sensors will be installed at Redhead and Blacksmiths beaches, measuring weather, surf conditions, crowd numbers, even car parking. Australian taxpayers have funded the project to the tune of $910,000.
You know, we had over 1.5 million visitors last year to Lake Macquarie, and a lot of them come to our beaches, and we want to make sure they have an enjoyable time, they have fun, and it's safe for them here. You know, our lifeguards are working around the clock providing that care, and they do an amazing job, and we know that there's more and more rescues happening on our beaches, so this technology will help our lifeguards in making sure that we keep people safe.
It's hoped the app will be available in 18 months' time. Meanwhile, classic photos and films showing the development of Lake Macquarie's beach culture will go on display in a new exhibition from tomorrow. A century of beach fashion, seaside holidays, family life and sport is captured in the collection, sourced from the Australian Film and Sound Archive. It gives a unique insight into surfing and life-saving at local beaches over the decades. The Waves exhibit runs until the end of March at the Swansea Centre.
A Newcastle pub with a family of resident magpies has been gifted a work of art with a difference. It's a nest crafted from steel, the bird-made structure revealing the creative side of an Aussie icon.
Lasagari publican Ian Lobb is a magpie man through and through. He played football for the Cowra Magpies. He's nurtured families of them for 20-odd years and even had them immortalised in canvas. But nothing prepared him for what tumbled down in his beer garden this week, a nest the likes of which we've never seen before.
It's a work of art. It's somewhere between a work of art and museum piece.
Which is exactly where it is now, as Newcastle Museum finds a place for it.
We won't end up writing a little number on it like we do with some collection objects, but we'll use it to teach people in Newcastle about their city.
Fencing wire, barbed wire, springs and phone chargers. A reflection of a modern city under construction. It even has a set of headphones. No doubt, a tribute to a little pub best known for its live music.
I thought, well, wow, the musical magpies at the lass, you know, they're wide for sound.
The chirpy creation has probably posed more questions than answers. Are they just resourceful birds building a home, or are they clinging on to our Steel City heritage? The closest thing we've seen to our feathered friend sculpture is, well, this. So could it be nature imitating art? That came with a sky-high price tag, making this museum piece great value for money. The artist just happy to settle for a counter meal.
It's probably the only high flyer we have here at the hotel.
Stephen Mount, NBN News.
Still to come. Fears of foreign power was behind the security breach at Federal Parliament.